Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup 2020. So, we have got another update on the new schedule due to the coronavirus cancellations of the homestands, and this is about to go bonkers. I mean, what we are about to see here is unprecedented in terms of fixtures, number of fixtures in a week anyway. So, what we have to go through at the moment, I said the other day that some teams are being based on the East Coast, some in Texas or the West Coast. And obviously the Chinese teams will be staying in either Korea or China. And so they are divided up into three sort of playing groups to just, make sure the ping doesn't get in the way too much. So, one thing that has had to be changed is the fact that the original schedule was balanced so that teams would play twice against teams in their own conference and then once against the teams in the other conference. But with this now being done by regional location, that can no longer be done. So some teams will play more than 2 matches against other teams, and some teams won't play each other at all this season. So that's unfortunate, but it is something that needs to happen. What the league does also say is that it's currently evaluating changes to the structure of the 2020 playoffs, including format and qualification, to account for this change, which should be interesting. I wonder whether they might go to a perhaps divisional qualification for it, possibly. Perhaps 3 places for each division. It'll be interesting to see, well, winner of division and then 3 places. It'll be interesting to see how they go about this, but we will see about that in the future anyway. So, let's look at this schedule. This schedule is actually bonkers. So, we know that at the end of the week, we will see 4 matches. We will see the Seoul Dynasty versus San Francisco Shock, the Gladiators versus the Valiant, the Gladiators versus the Dynasty, and the Valiant versus the Shock. We are only going to get 4 matches this weekend. But don't be too worried about it, because from then on, it's going to go mad. So, in week 8, we will see 16 matches played across Saturday, March the 28th, through all the way to Monday, March the 30th. That is unprecedented, to have that many matches in a week. It is bonkers. We will see some very interesting matchups as well. Toronto Defiant versus Boston Uprising. That's going to be interesting because that's a bottom of the league clash. This is when we will see for the first time Guangzhou, Shanghai, Chengdu and Hangzhou. They will all be playing. They will be the first matches of that weekend. We will also see the Battle of Europe, even though it's not in Europe. Paris versus London. We will see New York versus Atlanta. We will see the San Francisco Shock take on the Los Angeles Gladiators. We will see the Spark take on the Charge. We will see all sorts. It's going to be bonkers. Seoul Dynasty versus the Gladiators will be an incredible game as well. So, that weekend is going to be bonkers. But let me tell you something. It's only going to get crazier after that. So, in week 9, we are going to see 20 matches. And that will continue all the way through until week 12. We will see 20 matches a week. That is unprecedented and almost will certainly never happen again. Right. Again, we will see every single team pretty much in action here. I can't think that there wouldn't be a single team in action. It's just bonkers. This will take place across from Friday, April the 3rd, all the way until Monday, April the 6th. It's just crazy. And this is when we will see things like the Valiant versus the Titans, the Seoul Dynasty versus the Vancouver Titans, Houston Outlaws versus Paris, Charge versus the Spark again will be up. Spitfire versus the Rain, because remember we were meant to see London Spitfire take on the Rain in week 6 before it got cancelled. Spitfire have a slightly better schedule in week 8, which was when they all recommence, but in week 9 they will have to play those more difficult fixtures that they were scheduled to play. In week 10, again, it's the same story. It's played across from Friday to Monday, well, GMT anyway. And we will see, again, 20 matches where we will see Spitfire versus the Fusion. We will see Justice versus the Spitfire, which was an absolute barnstormer a couple of weeks ago. Gladiators versus the Shock. We will see Charge versus Spark again. Rain versus Uprising. Fuel versus the Dynasty. The Titans versus the Shock. We all know how big of a game that was last year. It's gonna be bonkers. But what this will mean is that the Overwatch League Roundup previews are going to be very, very long for these weeks. Next week, or this coming end of the week, will be a very short one. But when we go to 16 to 20 matches a week, it's going to be very long. And I want to warn you guys about this. So I'm looking at them ideally being 20 minutes long, but it's anywhere between 20 and half an hour. So these videos are going to be substantially bigger than they were. There is a possibility that I could split them up into Pacific week previews and Atlantic week previews. That is an option I will give you guys, and I would like your feedback on that, because I understand that some people will not want to see a half an hour video on the preview of the week. So I could potentially divide this up into a Pacific and Atlantic preview. If you want that over the next few weeks until we get this backlog, or until the league gets this backlog sorted, up until the midway through the season, and then obviously we evaluate whether we can go to homestands or not, that's what the league will do. If you want that when we've got this unprecedented amount of fixtures per week, please let me know in the comments below, and I will see to getting a Pacific and Atlantic preview set up. This week it will obviously just be the Pacific, because that's all the action we're going to get. Something we will see as well is we will see more Pacific fixtures than we will Atlantic fixtures for obvious reasons. We haven't seen, well, we saw some Pacific fixtures in week 1, but we haven't seen any since. Whereas, obviously, we've seen a lot of Atlantic fixtures, so there's going to be a lot more Pacific games going on rather than the Atlantic for obvious reasons. But again, do let me know in the comments below what you would like me to do. Are you happy with longer Roundup previews that will go through all of these matches, or would you like me to divide it up into Pacific and Atlantic and make them smaller but have them over a 2-day period? That is up to you, and I look forward to your feedback on that. But this is a quick update on the new schedule for the Overwatch League 2020. It's going to be absolutely crazy. It's just going to be bonkers getting into this many fixtures, and whew, I've got my work cut out by the looks of it for these videos. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.